would like to pray? And we've started recording the webinar so that people who are in other places can join in different platforms, can do so. So that's good. And also there's reference if you ever want to listen to some clip or some part of the discussion, you can always go back and review. So that's good. Okay, let's pray. I'll pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we come in front of you this morning, giving you thanks and praise for letting us see a brand new day. God, we do not take it for granted. Lord, receive our gratitude for this new day. And as we begin it, we ask you to be with us. We place it into your able hands, that God, whatever we'll do, whatever we say, whatever we think, may be directed by you. This morning, Lord, as we continue with this seminar of problem solving, we ask you, Lord, to be with us, guide us, give us wisdom, give us clarity, give us the time and the desire to be able to learn. Give us a discerning spirit, which is brave enough to go back to the marketplace and implement some of the things and the skills that we will have taken from this seminar. We thank you, God, for ACHRP, who have enabled us to be here and facilitated it. We ask you, Lord, that you continue to bless the Institute in one way or the other. We thank you, God, even for the other members who will be joining us, that, God, you're going to keep them safe and sound wherever they are. I pray this believing and trusting in your holy name. Amen. Thank you. Always nice to start with a word of prayer. So allow me to do a quick recap of yesterday, or maybe, I don't know how we'll do this, but I could ask what were some of the highlights, what we discussed, some of the tools that we looked at in problem solving. Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Am I audible? Raise your hand, the reaction button, that you can be able to see me and hear me loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Okay, great. Okay. Allow me to share my screen. There we go. Okay. So we looked at a couple of things for maybe Janet. I don't know whether you were in yesterday, but don't worry. It is you can find the notes on the LMS of ACHRP on the portal, and you can also be able to listen to the recording of yesterday. So we did look at the definition of problem solving. We looked at the process of problem solving. We also looked at the tools that we can use in problem solving. We also put some examples in those tools and how we can use them, especially at our workplaces and some of the challenges that we have faced. So there was good discussion around that. We also looked at some of the scientific tools that we can use in problem solving. And we said that we use all these tools sometimes in pockets and isolation. And we do now understand that there are names towards those tools and how can we effectively use them at the workplace, and which one is for what situation that you're facing, the problem, the matter, or the circumstances that you're facing, and how would you be able to use them deliberately to be able to solve the problems or come up with solutions that you have. We also did allude to the fact that human beings are complex, and we come to the place of work to be able to deliver the mandate and to bring our expertise. So we can't leave out the human element in problem solving, because even if it's a technical issue that we are facing, it is important to know that it's people who will be coming in to discuss those those problems. So it's always good to ensure that whatever we do at the workplace, we keep the centerfold should always be people, because they're the ones who are going to support you in delivering what needs to be done. So it's good to have a balanced team. It is important to have open communication. It's important from time to time to look at our culture, at our values. It's also important to address things right from the beginning and let people solve their own problems, give those skills. We talked very much yesterday about critical thinking. How do we develop critical thinking in employees, a skill that is required across board. We also looked into the area of if things are working in your organization or even things are working in your life, how can you make sure that you are looking to increase that so that you become extremely agile? You are a learning organization. Everything is as it should be, or even better. And so we looked at the appreciation inquiry tool for us to be able to do that. So we'll continue from there. We look at a couple of real life case studies that we can read through and be able to answer the questions and to be able to make sure that that is being done. Okay. Okay, any questions? So that was a recap of yesterday's discussion. Very interesting, very involving. I really thank each one of you who participated and will continue to participate this morning. Okay. Anybody who would like to add to our yesterday's discussion? What really you took home? What drew your attention? Anyone? Anyone who would like to do that? Really drew your attention, spoke to or any question when you went back and felt that this needs more thought, this needs to be, I need more information there. Anyone? Okay, great. So allow me to start off today's discussion, and we'll continue with some of the tools that we really know and really enjoyed working with, just like some of the ones that we looked at yesterday. How do we do this now? Just to do this, sorry. So, which one? Scientific method. So nice to panel method. Yeah, great. Today we want to look at the brainstorming session, the root cause analysis, and explain the root cause analysis for problem solving. So that's where, and then we'll conclude our 2-day webinar. So brainstorming, we hear this all the day, all the time. Let's brainstorm, let's look for time to brainstorm. I think that's a good idea. When do you think that we can hold the brainstorming session, and you keep planning, and it's a word that is used extensively at the workplace. And let's find a few minutes, come to my office, let's brainstorm. So brainstorming has a real good place at the workplace for you to be able to build your teams towards the skill of problem solving, and also be able to put on our critical thinking hat, at the same time collaborating very closely with everybody in the organization. And lastly, building agile teams that can trust each other, teams that can rely on each other, and finally coming up with solutions that really are well fitting for the challenge that we are trying to solve, or maybe just making sure that we get to the solution that needs to be done. So the brainstorming technique that was first introduced by Alex Osborne in the 1930s. So it's been long coming, and you can attest the fact that people continuously build on these things, over and over again. And we see a first generation, second generation, third generation. So people tried and tested. So things really become anchored around. It's a good technique to use. It's been used, it was developed many years ago, and it continues to evolve, and it becomes better and better, and it becomes widely accepted. So brainstorming is a strategy, as we have seen, that is generally used in a group setting to quickly generate large number of ideas to help solve a particular problem. Hence, it is a method or technique to foster creativity, creative problem solving, for generation of new ideas and greater acceptance by all of the suggested solutions. You can see this picture really speaks into it. Everybody, is really hard at work in a way that people are thinking, there's this, what can I bring to the table? How am I contributing? Everybody being given an opportunity to give their input. At the same time, you can choose a chair, you can choose someone to lead, the group. You can say this is the time frame that we will use to solve this problem, and to be able to be sure that whatever you do is going to be of good value to the organization. Anybody who has used brainstorming lately or predominantly encourages brainstorming at our workplaces? Anyone? Anyone that we're able to do that? Brainstorming? Anyone who's able to look at that and say, what are we doing at our workplace? Okay, so we look at some of the techniques, and feel free to unmute as we go by. Okay, so there are different ways to brainstorm, but the general structure of developing and conducting brainstorming sessions really largely remain the same, as follows. We have a problem statement, and yesterday we talked at great length, how do we develop a problem statement? It doesn't have to be something elaborate. We already know why, when, what, who, presented to a group of participants, the ones who are interested, the ones who have the capability, they have the expertise, they have the competencies, and really looking at, well, maybe some people, you would want to put people in these brainstorming sessions for them to be able to learn how it is done, pushing some of the aspects of how do we create teamwork, how do we build better collaboration within our teams, how do we make sure that everybody feels they are participating, and across board, looking at all cadres and levels in the organization. Participants are encouraged to brainstorm all possible ideas which could solve the problem at hand. Ideas presented during the brainstorming session are recorded or written down for future reference. It's like there are some organizations, especially the very high tech, think of the Samsungs, think of Apple, all those companies that really must keep ahead of consumer preferences and think ahead of, they're thinking about their competition. By the time, when you look at your phone, by the time you go and buy your phone, at the background, what is happening in the background is people are brainstorming. The think tanks are thinking, what is the next version that we'll be releasing in the market? What do people want to see? What do you think competition is doing? And sometimes there isn't so much of a difference compared, maybe it's just more clarity with the camera, maybe better battery storage, maybe when it falls, it will not break easily. They keep improving, and they now are ready to release it. So even before you enjoy using this phone, another one is right on your face. And the way we like to consume and to have the latest gadgets. So So that's how it is even at the workplace. How about us putting teams together to be able to look at our products and services from time to time and preempt? Actually, that's the word I was going I was looking for. Preempt what the consumer wants and be ready to deliver those services at a click of a button when they are ready. Ideas, let's move on. Ideas presented during the brainstorming session are recorded. So a focus on the quantity rather than the quality is the main being to generate as many ideas as possible within a short period of time. So the quantity rather than the quality. First, bring in all the ideas, bring them, bring one, bring all, no matter how shallow you think they are, no matter how deep you think they are. Then after that, we start now having that momentum and throwing all those ideas into the heart and saying, well, our heart is now becoming pretty full. Let's now start doing something different. Generally, after a certain period of time has elapsed, a list of ideas presented during the brainstorming sessions are further analyzed and discussed. Each idea is further discussed, analyzed, and looked at as a possible solution. Then a final ranked list of ideas is prepared as a possible solution towards solving the problem. So none of the ideas is actually thrown out. So you start now making those ideas, analyzing them. How do they fit into getting the solution? But half the time when we brainstorm, the brainstorming sessions that we have ordinarily are those ones. I need to look for a solution. Come around the table. Let's discuss, give ideas, and say, how is this idea? Oh, fine. We've already found a solution to the problem, which is fine. But we want to go deeper in developing a culture of having as many ideas as we can in an organization. We can pack some of those ideas and not lose sight of them. That's the most important thing we want to take today from a brainstorming process as a technique of problem solving. Don't throw away the ideas, no matter how mundane you think they are. In fact, if I get it right, or if I had it right, pardon me if I'm not correct, is that the person who developed, was it M-Pesa or one of the Safaricom products, developed it long time ago, and it was just shelved, and people thought, well, it will never see light of day, but over time it came to be what it is, revolutionized the whole way of how we transact as Kenyans. If I want to send money, just as a click of a button. So never, ever, ever make an idea fade that because then you think it's too mundane. You never know just when it is. Okay. So we look at the various, whoever thought that there are many, many techniques that we can use for brainstorming, ideas. Look at all this, as many as we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 ways of brainstorming, and let's have a look at each one of them. Any question or any input, any reaction, and up to where we have reached? Feel free. Feel free to unmute yourself and share. Okay. So there's a split group brainstorming, there's a silent brainstorming, there's a large group, there's a structured brainstorming, unstructured, reverse brainstorming, question brainstorming, freeform brainstorming, nominal group, and the team idea mapping. So those are some of the techniques that we can use, and you see that you already use them. When you look at all this, it's things that you're already using at your workplace. So the split group brainstorming techniques is typically used when there is a very large group of participants present in the brainstorming session, about 30 participants. Such brainstorming sessions prove to be very dynamic due to the large number of people presenting a wide array of ideas, opinions, and solutions. it almost sounds like it's in a marketplace. Everybody, I have an idea, but of course, no. The thing is that when you use the split group brainstorming technique, is that you also want some order, some fashion of order around you. So not everybody will be speaking from one corner to the other. There's order around, and that's why I said choose a group member who will be controlling, or who will be guiding or facilitating. Let me put it like that. Who will be facilitating the discussions. So it's important. Large groups, like maybe a whole department, a whole division, which is very big. Come one, come all. We want to hear what you guys have to say, and the problem statement has already been sent to the participants earlier. Come, because then it is important. Or maybe two departments coming together, large departments. One has 60 employees, the other one have 40 employees. And you see, all of a sudden, we are 100 people. And there, the thing is to give everybody an opportunity to speak, from all of them. Catherine, do you have an idea? I almost have the same idea like that other person, which is fine, but can you imagine getting 100 different ideas to solving a problem? Just think about it. It's staggering. It's mind-blowing. It's extremely exciting, and write them all down and start analyzing them. And maybe now you will see a pattern emerging, maybe group them together, but people feel, well, I really participated and I was part of the group that did what? Brought the solution home. So silent brainstorming. Silent brainstorming technique is also known as the write it down brainstorming technique. Silent brainstorming technique is mainly used when the facilitator feels that the participants would dominate the conversation. We know that some people who are the extroverts will sometimes overrun the introverts. So, and the introverts, everybody has something to say. So what we say is that write down your ideas, come together around the table. We've discussed, we've agreed what needs to be done, and write down your ideas on paper and bring it to the center of the table, so everybody is given an idea. And this is really good because nobody, even the introverted ones, will be denied or will shy away or will say, well, everything has been said. So everybody is forced to actually bring in their idea, write it down, bring it to the center of the table, and then the facilitator can do what? Can actually read them out. So very good for a team that is very quiet. There are some teams which are just naturally quiet. As you recruit, then that's the formation of the team. And there are some teams which are extremely just loud. You can hear them from one office to the other. So it's important for the leader to understand the personality of their team, so that they're able to use the correct technique in the area of brainstorming. Okay, any question there? Okay, so let's go to the third one, which is a large group brainstorming. A large group brainstorming technique is typically used when there's a very large group of participants present in the brainstorming session, about 15 to 30 participants. The thing is that the split brainstorming group and the large group is, it's all about the number of participants. The one is over 30, this one is about 15 to 30. Between 15 to 30 participants, that's a big number of people. Think about children in a class. And when we say that the teacher is supposed to instruct 30 students, and if you give them more than 30 students, then it starts becoming very difficult for a teacher to be able to control and give the quality that is deserving of the children. So 30 max in this large brainstorming group. Structured brainstorming technique is also known as the one-at-a-time brainstorming technique. In this technique, facilitator asks each individual to present his or her ideas about the problem or the topic being discussed. So simple, a very structured way, going around the table, very deliberate, picking and making sure that that is done. Everybody gets an opportunity to do what? To actually give their ideas. And the unstructured brainstorming technique is also known as the open door brainstorming technique. What does that mean? Can someone ideally, just like what it is, open door? Open door, what does that mean for you? Please try. It's just what it is. There's no, maybe give an example or tell us whether you've come across it. You use it all the time at your place of work. Anyone who has come across it? Open door. We always talk about the open door policy. Open door policy. What does it mean? Someone share with us.
I would say it's a meeting that is it's for all, It's anybody can everybody has a chance, but it's randomly evolving. Anybody can stand at a time and give his ideas and sit down, and that is it.
Yeah, it's open door. That's it. Come one, come all. We have a brainstorming session which will be taking place at the conference hall XYZ, and it will take place between 9 and 11. You already know, with the problem statement has already been sent out, and we invite everyone to come, open door, and people just trickling in, and sometimes what happens is that when you want to effectively get as many ideas as possible across board from people working in the organization, is that you can even put a sweetener. You say there'll be sandwiches, throughout the day, or coffee, and the coffee, you always get coffee. People think, oh, but we always drink coffee. What is this? Human beings are complex, as we say, but you say the coffee has your favorite snack. So come in. So it's just a way of, as you're brainstorming, oh, welcome, what's your idea, and you're generating all those ideas, and people are getting to meet each other, are getting to mingle. So it's a good way of solving problems at the workplace. And you remember, some are abrupt, like what we said yesterday. Some are, they have been developing over time, and then they are magnified now and they need to do something. We have stumbled maybe into something that we never knew that existed, a gap where we said someone has been, there's been fraud in the organization, but the way it is being done, we would never have noticed until it was discovered, stumbled into it and stuff like that. Or we are trying to build our agility in the organization. Things are working, but we want to incrementally make sure that we are moving in the right direction, and we don't want to be caught up by competition. So all these are things that all these are problems that we solve at the workplace. So problems are not necessarily bad and stressful. They could be, definitely, because there are matters or situations which are unwelcomed, and solutions have to be found for them. But some problems are really good. Like, let's say you launch a product, a good product, a good problem for an organization. I hear this phrase nowadays a lot. Okay, we have a good problem. You've had it. We've had it many times. You've got a good problem where that you have a new product and everybody is running for it, and you're running out of the product. How do you make sure that you're able to supply it as quickly as you have promised, so that you continue building your business? So your profits are coming in fast and furious, but you don't have the product. So that's a good product. So these are some of the techniques that you can use to actually solve the problem, and people can be able to input. So good problem. So did I put reverse brainstorming? Reverse brainstorming technique is also known as the topsy-turvy brainstorming technique. What is that? Topsy-turvy? Reverse, think about reverse mentoring. It's the same. Anybody? Anybody would think about reverse brainstorming? Just like think about reverse mentoring. What is reverse mentoring? Anyone? Go sharpen, go brighter, you know. What do you think about reverse mentoring? So this is a technique that can be used when now you reverse the problem and try and see, you know, you are reversing the problem and trying to look for if it was the opposite of it, you know, reverse. We have a good problem. Sales are up to where they should be and increasing. Reverse on the other side is we do not have sales. What would it make us to be? So looking at the reverse of that problem and reversing it and saying, if this was to be like this, what would happen to us and what kind of solutions will we be looking at? So to help you also look at the risk aspect of that business, of that solution. It's actually more of looking at the risk when you are doing reverse brainstorming, and what are some of the things that we have not thought about that are so critical in this brainstorming session. So it forces you to think about a bit more deeply around the risks that are associated with the solutions that we are finding and what can we do about them. Okay. Question brainstorming techniques is also called the star-busting brainstorming. You know, so we are looking at really not just finding solutions, but those solutions have questions around it. You know, star-busting brainstorming, question brainstorming. We are asking why is it happening like this? You know, putting in more emphasis around the problem, you know, so that we actually own it and start running with it. Then after that, we start looking for the solutions that are required for us to be able to come up with a solution. The freeform brainstorming technique is one of the simplest techniques that you can use to effectively generate several ideas and solutions to any problem or solution that you may be facing. You know, it's just like it almost mirrors the open-end questions around brainstorming. They're unstructured. So freeform, you know, bring them. Free-forming, we're happy. Bring them all, bring them on. And then the nominal group brainstorming techniques is an advanced technique that further builds on the silent technique. Nominal group, you know, the nominal, we talk about nominal value at the stock exchange and I don't know where else. So the nominal group is the one which has now been selected, the core team, to be able to have this brainstorming session and come up with solutions. So it's incremental towards the silent brainstorming group. And finally, the team leader, the team idea mapping brainstorming works based on the theory of association. The participants of the brainstorming session are presented with a clear, well-defined topic, you know, idea mapping. It's not to say that the problem statement is not clear and well-defined, but clear defined topic. This is a topic that we want to brainstorm. It's not a problem statement. So it's a topic. We want to develop a strategic plan. That's the topic, and let's now map up the ideas. Let's look at them. Let's discuss how it's going to be and be able to put up a framework for us to be able to move forward with that. Any question there? Any question? Okay. Please answer the question on the... Which of the following is a one-time brainstorming technique? Nominal group, structured brainstorming, unstructured, or large? You've had a look at all of them. Someone pick the answer?
Structured.
Yeah.
The structured brainstorming.
Unstructured brainstorming or structured?
Structured.
Yeah.
Structured
Thank you.
brainstorming.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, structured brainstorming. Well done. Yay. Right there. Okay, fantastic. Okay, any question? Any question? It's nice to know that brainstorming, whoever thought that brainstorming had all these things that we can look into and really come up with solutions towards the problems of the organization. So whatever you do, one of the things that we want to really emphasize in this brainstorming technique is to bring in as many ideas as you can. Let people bring in the ideas, then analyze those ideas and pick some of them which will be able to solve the problem that you're facing. But also at the same time, never throw away any idea. And that's why we continue, that's how we continue building our knowledge base as an organization. The tacit knowledge and the explicit knowledge. So it's important for us to be able to understand that. Okay, great. So,
hello.
Yeah.
I was not very clear about question brainstorming. Could you please go back to it a little bit?
Okay. Question. Okay. Question brainstorming. Okay, so let's go back. And what I said is that the question brainstorming is you already have a problem statement. And this is what we are looking at. And this is what we would like to find a solution for. So instead of, question that problem, how did this problem come about? Who are affected by this problem? How far is it setting us back? Who are the experts in solving this problem? How, around that problem, question as much as possible the problem that we have. Then when we deeply understand, it gives us an opportunity to deeply understand the problem, especially when it's affecting the organization. The problem, the question brainstorming technique is very ideal, especially for complex problems and also for when it touches entirely on your organization. Leave the small little ones, you came late and I don't know, the marketing department did not deliver. Really big magnitude, so that people really understand and get the feel of the urgency of what is being discussed and be able to run with it. Then after that, when we all understand and we are all aligned that there's a big problem, and we understand where we're coming from and what are the risks and what are the implications, what are the repercussions of this problem, then we can now start doing what? Now, sit back and say, how are we going to start looking for solutions? And within that, we also now alive to the fact that this is where the rain starts beating us, and this is where we should start looking for the solution. Joseph, you okay with that?
Yes, certainly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Anybody else, a reaction? Something that we need to, okay, thank you. So let's look at real life. I'll read the slides very quickly, or if someone wants to read, feel free. A real life example that happens, or just maybe one of those things that you can relate with. Star Events Company is a popular event management company with a large client base. I guess they sell good wine. You know, we can see a white wine and a red wine over there. Has been known for organizing large and esteemed events at a global scale of quality and finesse. It continues to grow and cross greater turnover landmarks. It sees different kinds of events coming its way. You know, they're looking at their pipeline and things are going on the way they would like to go. Though this is great news for Star Events, you know, a good problem, we have a good problem. This is really a good problem situation. It possesses a completely different kind of challenge to the resource department of the company. You know, we are growing, what are we going to do? Most events require a large amount of resources for planning, executing, and successful finish, you know, just like any other company. Let us try to find out how Star Events HR department handles such staffing pressures, you know. So, you know, they've got a problem, ideas, solutions. That's what they would like to look at. So Samuel Jackson, the head of HR, calls for a meeting with his team members working in the department. After a few minutes of discussion, Samuel realizes that many people have different ideas. You know, we have all these different ideas or suggestions on how the challenge of staffing for different events of short to long durations can be overcome. You remember there are events organizing companies, so they are feeling the pressure on how to organize these events for their clients. Samuel decides to conduct a brainstorming session, Good Manager, where everybody's viewpoints can be taken into consideration and ways of overcoming the challenge can be decided with everyone's approval. You know, everyone needs to be in the same bus. You remember where we said a very bad way of making a decision is where you have to vote. As much as possible, if you are ever a leader of a team, even for a short duration of time, and you have to make a decision, make sure that you are all aligned on the decision that you make. Sometimes not easy, but it's key. Some key ideas for overcoming the challenge put forth in the brainstorming sessions were as follows: hire people with different skill sets or multiple talented skills, make the existing employees work on more events simultaneously. Okay? Hire independent contractors on the basis for the short-term and long-term events. Only take as many events that you can handle by existing employees. And these really reasonable and rational suggestions that were put on the table. Do you agree? I totally agree. They are really good suggestions on how we can be able to solve the problem. So, after going through the various ideas put forth, people decided that the best way to overcome the staffing challenge is using a policy of hiring independent contractors to fulfill such short and long-term events. So in this way, the HR department will be able to cater to the demands for different events while keeping the recruitment and overhead costs low. You know, good solution, good solution. The HR can find people who work as independent contractors and choose them as per the skill set required for each event. Moreover, when a large number of events get completed, the contract with the contractor can be terminated. So you can understand how brainstorming for ideas can prove to be a great method for solving problems as it uses the collective intelligence, expertise, and creativity of several people to help you find the best way forward to solve a problem. Okay. Would you have done anything different? There were quite a number. He decides to get everybody's feedback, approval, they came up with a few of them. Would you have done anything differently? Would you have taken a different solution? And look at the bottles as well. They illustrate, come together. Would you have taken a better, a different solution to the problem statement? So what we are trying to achieve here is that we have identified the problem, and we must look for a solution for us to be able to support the clients. That's important. The next thing is to bring everybody together so that everybody has a chance to put in their views. And then also, one of the things that we also must be cognizant as business partners is to look for the best solution that is effective, efficient, while also making sure that we keep our costs low. Depending on the industry that you are, maybe events companies, there are seasons, there are very busy seasons that really need many people to be hired. So the best thing, what would you do as a recruiter? Maybe it's that solution, hire people on contract, always look at the best solution for the business. Are we maintaining our costs, or will we be increasing our costs? Will we be required to relook at our policies and revise our policies based on all these solutions that we are discussing? And when we pick one, what does it really imply? Does it mean that we'll be shifting many things internally to accommodate this solution that we have arrived at? So it's important for us as leaders to be able to look into that and make sure that we actually are very aligned with the business and how the business makes money. I have a favorite line that when I'm interviewing internal candidates, and they know you better be, and I'll twist it in many ways, but maybe just maybe forthright. How does the company make money? And how does your role support in making money, in generating income or revenue for whatever? What can you do more in this whatever? So just to make sure that there's ownership, especially for internal candidates. We must stretch people a little bit more. Any question? I'd like to hear more from you. Please unmute. And would it be done differently? Would you have done anything differently? Okay, from somewhere. Okay, great. So, problem solving and root cause analysis. And we'll be talking about root cause analysis tomorrow for 2 days. Very interesting. Who thought that root cause analysis can be discussed over 2 days? Come listen, come here, come support, come share your experiences. So I keep on saying that there's always one thing is that we'll never miss is the human aspect of running the business. Of course, there will be machinery or tools that you use to support the business, and there will be inputs that will be required for you to produce the goods and services that you offer. 3 things that are important in an organization. So RCA, root cause analysis, is also known as RCA. It is a method that is used to deal with a problem, error, or failure by finding the root cause of the reason for origin of the problem. Again, I make reference to yesterday. You remember where I said about symptoms? We discussed about symptoms. Going deeper inside and saying, what really is the root cause of this problem? The solution to the problem is then found by correcting or removing the root cause. And hence, prevent the problem from repeating. It's as simple as that, going to the root of the problem. And an easy way to remember is with an example of a tooth. You have a tooth that is aching, so you go, the doctor looks at it the first day and fills your tooth with feels, because it has there's tooth decay, and they feel, and you come home, oh, really nice. The sensitivity and the pain is gone. You're happy. You continue. 6 months later, the same tooth, not good at all. So you go back to the dentist and say, now we really need to look for the root cause of this problem. And when they look inside, they see that your tooth now needs to be removed, to find a permanent solution. They see that there is decay from the root, so they remove it, so that to prevent the problem from repeating and coming back again. Otherwise, we'll continue feeling it, we'll continue giving you antibiotics and medicine to elevate the pain, to remove the pain and stuff like that, but it still comes, it still continues. If we don't look for the root cause analysis, what are the consequences? There could be as many as we are in this class. What are the consequences of really not preventing the problem from repeating? Yeah, Michael?
If you don't point out on the real root cause of a problem, you are likely to waste a lot of resources solving wrong problems. You're likely to waste a lot of bullet shooting in the air and a lot of time, not to mention. So I think it's very important to spend or to invest in getting to the root of the problem before you attempt any solution.
Exactly. Yeah, very well put. We spend a lot of time and resources. Yeah.
And again, if you don't work on the root cause, it might come back.
Yeah, it might just come. Yeah, and for sure it will definitely come back. Yeah, it will definitely repeat itself. So that's very true. Someone else? If we don't go to the root cause of the problem.
It could be destructive. It would lead to strikes and other unnecessary costs.
Yeah, business consequences, strikes, riots, losing manpower, business downtime, people dropping balls, accidents, which should have been avoided from the very beginning. So there are many, many consequences, negative consequences to your business if you do not address the root cause analysis. Even at home, this what I love about these trainings, and when we come to learn, is that how do I also apply this in my own personal life? If I am not looking at the root cause, I'm just trying to scratch the surface instead of digging deep, then I will not be able to improve as an individual. And the thing is that if I'm a good individual, I'm really self-aware of who I am, then I take that to the workplace. I exhibit strong work ethics. I exhibit self-awareness and emotional intelligence. If I'm a leader, what am I doing every day? I have this parting shot for all managers nearly every time. I say, at the end of the day, when you reflect back, take even 5 minutes to say, how have I provided good leadership, to my team today? Even if just 5 minutes, reflect every day. Even as an individual, what have I added? What value did I add to my employer? And how did it grow me? So that when I come back tomorrow, it's something that is different. So it's important for us to address the root analysis. So we want to look at the 5 steps that we can use steps to conduct a root cause analysis. Okay. So the first step towards conducting any RCA study is to properly and specifically define the problem. We struggle in identifying the problem and pinpointing the problem. Why? Because sometimes we are not brave enough to call it out what it is. We have too many problems, and sometimes it's difficult to narrow it down to one big one, and which is fine, because then if you have 5 different problems, then what we say is that take the one that is most urgent, prioritize them to see what needs to be addressed first, and then take up the rest as you go along, or when you have solved one problem. And then we think, well, the problem will go away. We think that, it's definitely going to go away. The same way it came, it's the same way it should be living. That's a very, very short-sighted way of looking at addressing problems at the workplace, And then we say, of course, it is management's problem to solve problems. After all, they've not given me the resources to be able to solve this problem. So our being able to identify and resonate with the problem and taking that problem with the urgency that it deserves is something that all organizations should embrace. Problems are good. In fact, maybe we should have, I don't know whether it's values or a policy around problems and how we solve all these problem techniques for solving problems. I think we should form a little think tank with all of us here and say, is there something that we can bring unique to the workplace, or where can we embed some of these principles that we are learning in our policies for us to be more ready and preempting the future and what it is? Because problems give us an opportunity to grow and to become better. So we should use the SMART rules to define your problem, to ensure that you define the problem as very specific, measurable, action, realistic, and time-constrained manner. So if SMART has a way of coming back all the time in the many things that you do in the organization. So SMART rules, the SMART is not just for performance management. Look where now we find it. Specify the problem situation, step 1. And for you, if you're struggling with it, then just look at, be very specific. Is it measurable? Is it action-oriented? Is it realistic? Is it time-bound? If it is not, then it is not a problem. Leave it. Look, come back, and now say, think through 2 days, and let's say, come back. If it doesn't meet this criteria, then there's a problem. Understand the problem situation. That's number 2. For steps to conducting a root cause analysis, so that you're able to see what needs to be addressed and start looking for all those ideas. And you can use the brainstorming techniques to start looking for the ideas to solve the problem. So define the problem. Defining the problem was the first step. And then in the second step, you will make sure that you have understood about the problem. The problem is accurate or not based on hard facts or data. It's accurate and based on hard facts and data. These steps ensures that you have no personal biases and perceptions, and you do not interpret the problem wrongly. Making reference to yesterday as well. All this noise that we hear on the sidelines are just here to come and confuse us. We love noise, actually. We love the noise more because sometimes we just think, who's going to solve this problem? Let me listen to the stories around. Those stories are actually noise. They have no bearing to what we are trying to solve. And the noise, a good illustration of noise is when we go to a meeting and we have an agenda. But all those other things that instead of sticking to the agenda, we start discussing other things around the agenda, which is fine. But when we discuss it for too long, we lose sight of the main agenda. And then that's the time the chairman says, hey guys, we're losing track and sight of what we are supposed to be discussing. Let's come back. And then he comes and says, this is the goal, this is the problem, this is the agenda. Let's go back. All those other things are sidelines. I'm sure we found ourselves in there, but the noise is sweet. The noise is nice, you know, the discussions are out of that, whatever. And then we are faced with this elephant in the room. Oh my gosh. And we have to discuss it. So the thing is that there should be no personal biases and no perceptions. You know, we must be real, accurate. We must have the data correct, and we must be able to discuss what is on the forefront. The next one is to take prompt action steps around the root cause analysis. So now we have the problem, and we have also understood and accurately defined the problem. So the next step is to take action. These steps just offers their temporary quick fix to the problem for the time being, and permanent steps will need to be taken to completely eliminate the problem from recurring. Prompt steps. What is prompt? Quick. You know, it's like, again, going to the doctor and saying, I've got a root a feeling. You go home, it's been addressed. You know, we've been able to support the client. The client is now happy. Let us go back. You know, let's go back. There's a problem. Someone, before, as we're investigating, let's send them on suspension. You know, you've actually taken prompt steps for the action, for the problem that is there. As now you're going to make sure that you are looking for permanent solutions to address the problem. Okay. So take preventive action plans. The next step is to find a corrective action plan that needs to be taken to completely eliminate the problem and stop it from recurring. You know, many illustrations as well, you know, prompt steps. There's a big pipe sewer, maybe put off the tap from there as we are replacing it with a new step, with a new pipe. From this, you will need to dig deep and find the most probable underlying root cause analysis of the problem. What happens here in this stage is that it takes a lot of time. It's not just, it takes a lot of time, especially if it's a complex problem, for you to be able to get to the solution of it. So be willing to spend time, resources, expertise to be able to look for long-term solutions. You know, some might take longer in terms of time span, maybe 3 months or whatever it is. And some, even when it's digging deep, it also means that even if it is a day, you have committed to spending time, resources, and expertise to look for the solution. What I'm trying to say just depends with the magnitude of the problem that you are solving when you are using the root cause analysis method. Okay, so the last step is establish a solution. You have taken certain corrective and preventive measures to help eliminate the root cause problem, causing a root cause that is causing a particular problem. After achieving success through such steps, it is critical that you identify and establish the success of the adaptable approach. What does that mean for us? Establish the success of the adapted approach. Someone? Just to analyze that for us. Root cause analysis. That you identify and establish the success of the adapted approach. Anyone? What do you think? When you found a solution, what do you normally do? Of course, you're happy, you celebrate. You say that was hard, but we managed to do it. We did it very well. What does it mean? Identify and establish the success of the adapted approach. Someone?
I think you need to monitor the solution for a while to make sure it is indeed the correct solution and the problem has indeed been solved.
Yeah, simple as that, yeah. Monitor, keep a close eye, keep a framework of maybe some of the things that need to be done, make sure that there's feedback, there's follow through, just to make sure that it is the solution that really has solved the problem and you're able to move on. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay. Question. Which of the following is the first step to RCA process? Is it the first one, prompt action, understand the problem statement, take corrective action, specify the problem situation? Drums roll, drums roll, drums roll. What do you think? Someone?
I think it should be first to understand the problem situation.
First to understand the problem situation. Someone else? Thank you, Michael. Is it understanding the problem situation or specify the problem situation? Even me, Sijui. Is there a word like that, even me? Is it to understand or to specify? Someone else? Is it to understand or to specify?
Specify.
Specify. Great. Okay. So let's look at another life example to understand the 5 why methods for finding the root cause analysis. You remember the 5 why 2 method?
I think you need to understand completely what the problem situation is so that you're able now to put some bullets to specify the problem situation. So I think I will still stand with what I have said, understand the problem situation.
Well done. Thumbs up. Fantastic. Okay. So who remembers the 5 why method? Yesterday we discussed the 5 why. You see now how they we look at something and we for real purposes of deep understanding, the 70-20-10 rule of learning. You remember? Okay. It's Eat Well Food and Beverages has several products on its product line, including different kinds of instant ready-to-cook products as well as beverages. You can think of any, you are one of your favorite restaurants that has this kind of services. One of its most popular product is its ready-to-cook sausages and steak ranch sold under the brand of the name barbecue. It makes me hungry. What time is it? Before now I start saying, yeah, it's almost going to 10. Okay. Recently, there has been a rise in the demand of barbecue products owing to the summer season. You know, people are out having a good time celebrating. We are a few months into December. We know that there will be a lot of celebrations and get-togethers from family and friends. So we can relate with the demand that is going to be there for some goods and services in the country. In summer season, the demand for barbecue product goes up due to the large number of people organizing and celebrating the good weather through outdoor barbecue parties. You know, I have a party on 22nd, please come one, come all. However, Eat Well has been unable to ship out 5 large shipments to retailers across the country, from one place to another for people to be able to get the products that they need. The failed shipments have caused Eat Well face a huge loss, you know, profits dwindling like that. Okay. Thomas Thornton, the supply chain head, has been asked by Eatwell management to provide valid reasons as to why the shipments have not been delivered. It's been called, Mr. Jason, come and tell us why there's a problem. Jason knows that to be able to provide a satisfying answer, and to get the root cause of this problem, he would need to conduct a thorough analysis of the problem situation, isn't it? Which we looked at. Jason starts asking the why question to which problem and conducts the analysis as follows. You know, this has whatever. Why were the 5 large shipments of barbecue products to retailers across the country not sent? You know, you're asking yourself, you remember where, thank you, Joseph, where you asked those questions, you know, analyzing deeply, you asked what is the questioning, brainstorming question. This is where you question, I have large 5 shipments, they should have gone by now. The answer, because there was no stock of one of the key ingredients, beef that is required to make barbecue products. So the product could not be sold. You know, the next why is there no stock of beef, which is one of the key ingredients? Now he's found out there is no beef. Now he's asking, why isn't there any beef, which is a primary ingredient for making this product? Because the last 3 shipments were not received due to a problem at supplier side, and there was no inventory kept at Keepwell. Started following up just in time of the supply management. Never the order level. In fact, we had another example yesterday where you need to look at your order levels to make sure that you are not running out of stock. Why did Eatwell not order the ingredients from another supplier? Does it mean we have only one supplier to suppliers with this ingredient? There are no contracts in place for backup suppliers of the ingredient in case the primary supplier fails to deliver. That's the time you want to put a resignation letter on your boss's table. How now can there be only one primary supplier? Okay, why was the restocking of the beef not done earlier before reaching 0 stocks? Go back again and ask. The trigger for reordering an inventory has been set too late, as the new JTS system has just been implemented in the company since the last few months. The stocks were supposed to last at least another 2 months. And you did not do what? You did not have a system to trigger that. Why did the ingredient stock finish earlier than expected? Due to the high demand of the barbecue products due to summer season and the epidemic which killed several cows in that year, Eatwell was not able to get the supplies on time, and stocks got finished. You know, high demand. Other companies are producing the barbecue as well. And there was an epidemic that killed several of the cows that year. So farmers maybe were not able to sell their cows or to satisfy the demands of their clients. All the above analysis, after all the above analysis, Jason knows the root cause of the failure to deliver the shipments to the retailer. What is the root cause, guys? What is the root cause to their retailers and customers? He knows. What will he tell management? After asking all this, why, the 5 whys, why we should always be asking. So he puts up a presentation. Jason presents the causes and the possible solutions to the management as follows. Root cause. No stock of one of the key ingredients that has to make the barbecue. So there was no stock. Primary supplier failed to deliver shipments of ingredients on time as expected. And then there was no inventory maintained for the ingredients as well. because we just started using a new supply chain system. So this is what he found out. And this was the reason as to why this happened. Okay. No contracts are in place for backup suppliers of ingredients if primary supply fails to deliver. Trigger for reordering an inventory has been set too late as per the new just-in-time system. No forecast was done to predict high demand to barbecue products due to the summer season and spread of an epidemic, and further increase the gap between the supply and the demand. So there was no inventory for sure. There were no other contracts, there were no other suppliers, but all the same, the reordering button inventory was too late, maybe a week to the reordering, and that made a big dent to making sure that to contributing to this problem. Solution. Nominal amount of inventory stock should always be maintained. The solution, have backup suppliers ready to order the key ingredient. So we can make the just-in-time system become more solution, be more aware of the market situation, which can cause future problems such as the epidemic. Solution, use proper forecast analysis tools to predict the demand and the sales of the barbecue products and other things that may impact the supply chain, such as epidemic, seasons, demand, etc., to meet the rise in demand in time. Set trigger for reordering an inventory early to order restock before the ingredient gets stocked out. Easy solutions, things that we normally do. Hence, you can see how Jason could use root cause analysis to find the root cause of the problem and find practical solutions to solving the problem. Any question? Practical example, something that we can use all the time? Something that we can use all the time? Any question there? Any reaction? Would they have done anything better? More efficiently? Because they had already lost money? Anyone? Okay. So let's move on. So let's look at the last part of problem solving and SWOT analysis. We use SWOT all the time. You know, I see many people using SWOT at the beginning of the year to make resolutions, or using SWOT to make to arrive at life-changing decisions. You know, I want to move from one employer to the other. I've been with this employer for the last 15 years. How do I do that? I've found this great opportunity. What does that mean for me? What does that mean for my family? We want to move from one house to the other. Maybe we bought our house. What does that mean in terms of children going to school? There are many questions, and using SWOT before we make those decisions really helps us. So SWOT is also another tool that we can be used to make to solve problems. So the beauty about this problem solving seminar is that we can use all the principles that we know. Look, we found now SMART somewhere else. Now we are looking at SWOT, root cause analysis, things that we are always using, you know, maybe not calling them out as they are, but we're always using them at the workplace, and they make us become more efficient and work smarter. But when we now remind ourselves of these principles and how we can use them, then we are home and dry, and we go out always being more self-aware. And remember, you know, until such a time again when we meet again and say, oh, how has it happened, and how are you doing it, and how are you using it? SWOT analysis is a technique founded by Albert Humphrey. who led a research project at Stanford University in the 1960s and 1970s. The acronym SWOT stands for S is strength, W is weaknesses, O is opportunities, and T is threats. You know, again, bright minds that brought some of these principles our way. So we can use this framework of SWOT in problem solving. It is used as a framework for organizing and using data and information gained from situation analysis and internal and external environments. You know, our internal, external, what's happening there for us to be able to make some analysis and be able to come to some solutions. SWOT analysis enables a group or individual to handle everyday problems and look at traditional strategies from a new perspective. SWOT analysis is a planning tool used to understand strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and strength involved in a project or the entire business. I think that's the most important thing, that we can use it as a framework. We handle every day by a group, a team, as an individual, you know, and we can use it to solve threats to be involved in the business and the company as a whole. As a facilitator of a brainstorming session, it is crucial that you get the buy-in or acceptance of those who have participated. Oh, sorry, this should have been there. I should have put it there. But anyway, this is the end of the brainstorming. Let me just read it. I should have moved my slide to after we finish brainstorming. As a facilitator of a brainstorming session, it is crucial that you get the buy-in or acceptance from those who have participated in the brainstorming session, but those ideas are not accepted and not acted upon. You must always appreciate their efforts, encourage them for their contribution, both personally as well as in front of the whole group, like what we said. Sorry, it's a misplaced one. I should have moved it there. So what are the strengths in brainstorming? You know, strengths are characteristics of the business or team that gives it an advantage over others in the industry, positive, tangible, and intangible benefits internal to an organization, beneficial aspects of the organization or the capabilities of an organization, which include human competencies, process capabilities, financial resources, product services, customers, goodwill, and brand loyalty. Those are some of the things. And when you identify these things, then what you do is normally you put down exactly what it means. What are our tangible attributes? What are our intangible attributes that make us as an organization? What are the characteristics of our business? And you outline them. These are just the framework for you to be as a guide for you now to start filling them in. The same, you know, some of the examples, whatever, could be, all this could be, and many more that are not mentioned here. We have a lot of financial resources. There's some companies who just have a lot of money. Think about a company like Amazon. It's got a lot of money. I think they can implement everything that they've always wanted to do. Look at a company like Safaricom. They had so much money, they needed to find out what to do with the money, and they opened other streams of business like M-Shwari, which has gone on to make more money. You get what I mean? So there's some businesses that don't struggle with financial resources. An established brand name. Are you an established brand name as an individual? Do you think you are? And what are you doing to increase your brand as an individual? Or what are you going to do to increase the brand of the organization? So economies of scale, lower production costs because you have figured out how to do it over time, superior management, people who are really driven, who can be able to support the business. You saw in the news yesterday, superior management is Kenya Power. I watched it on news yesterday that the employees are not too happy with the board. Can you imagine if employees down here are not happy with the board? You know, it's serious. I think it is serious, and it's something that needs to be addressed. If that is true, by the time it is coming to national news, sometimes, you wonder whether news is factual, and maybe whether they have looked at the other side of the coin. That we cannot be able to say that it's factual, because also they didn't get the side of the story from the board. But if it's that what it is for it to reach national news, then it means that there's a problem, but when you have superior management, they understand their work, they support the business, that they are aligned to the strategy, they understand the people and support the people, then you are home and dry. Your marketing skills, good chain of value chain distribution, employee commitment and engagement. We all have weaknesses or areas of improvement, and as a framework, you would be looking at characteristics that place organization at a disadvantage relative to others. Others are your competition, distract the organization from its ability to attain the core goals and influence its growth, factors which do not meet the standards set by the organization. And some of the examples, they could be as many as we are in this class, limited financial resources, we are cash constrained, narrow product line, we don't have too many products compared to what we would like to do, because we are not able to do that because of our financial constraint, low R&D budget. Always research and development, we want to do a lot of research for our products and services, marketing, but we never just put enough resources there. Higher production costs, obsolete or out-of-date products or technology, poor market image and skills, poor brand visibility. There could be many management skills, under-trained employees, because we don't want to pay top dollar for the people who can come and help us, because we are financially constrained, or we are just this organization that thinks, again, if we pay people too much, we are doing them a favor. No, we must have that psychological contract, employee, employer, and make everybody happy. Equal pay for equal work. If you decide to be a 25th percentile employer, so be it, and let people know we are playing at the 25th percentile. If you decide to be a 50th percentile, pay at 50th percentile. If you decide to be 75th percentile, pay at 75th percentile. That's what I keep on saying. But don't be a 75th percentile company. Everything for you is 75th, and you still want to pay at 50th or 25th. People are not going to be happy. At 25th, we've already that's where we play, and we are happy as we keep building. And we are going to pay 25th percentile. Of course, you'll struggle a little, no doubt about it, but people will understand. But you can't be 75th percentile or imaging yourself to be 75th percentile and actually paying 25th or even 50th or even in between that. Opportunities. Chances to make greater profits. What are your opportunities? What are the frameworks we can put in place? Condition for environment that benefits the organization. And this could also be some of the frameworks that you have for yourself. What have you put in place to be able to be a better individual? So those, you can ask yourself those questions. And what are some of the examples? Rapid market growth is there. Complacent rival firms, they're there. They think that they know it all. You just come and surpass them. Changing customer needs and tastes. Use new users discovered for existing products. Economic boom. Government regulation. Better rules for doing business in your industry by the government. Decline in demand for substitute product. This is really nice. And I think economic boom, yes, but when you look at it on the flip side again, as a risk, if we got a pandemic, what does that mean for us in the opportunities that we have? And finally, threats. That's the framework that you can use. External elements, external factors, conditions in external factors that jeopardize the reliability and profitability of the organization's business. threats are uncontrollable. When a threat comes, the sustainability and survival can be at stake. You know, threats like a pandemic, very uncontrollable. And what can you do to firm up some of the examples here? Is entry of foreign competitors, introduction of new substitute products, decline of project life cycle, you know, the stages of the product life cycle, changing customer needs and preferences, new strategies adopted by rival firms, increased government regulations, and economic slowdown. Very, very, very clear and very good examples. What we need to do when you are having a SWOT and looking, because many of us, we want to look at our SWOT analysis only when we are doing strategy or when it is called for a big thing. How about us using our SWOT analysis as an everyday competitive advantage for our organization and for our business and the products and the people who help us produce those goods? And also being very key in the business intelligence department. Business intelligence, the ones who go and look for intelligence, how they look for it must be credible, must be honest, must be ethical, but they are the ones who are coming and telling you the real threats. We had XYZ multinational is coming to compete with us. Us guys have been 30 years here. Their products and demands we have seen our people always order them and bring them through shipments. Now they will be here. What does that mean for us? Business intelligence is a very key department in your organization. Whatever you call it, if you don't have it, why don't you think of having it so that you find out what's happening on the ground? But of course, one of the things that, again, in pockets and isolation is your salespeople. If you're in the area of sales, they will bring you back business intelligence, people having a strong business acumen. You know, this is what's happening, or even your marketing team going out and finding out what is there. So you're able to collect that information. But specifically having a business intelligence department to look at the models, your models of going to the market, your financial models, predicting what's going to go on in the future. It's the right time to start thinking of those departments and employing those experts to be able to support you if you feel it is important. So when planning, again, when you go and say, how are we doing as a business, where are we at, and whatever, these are some of the discussions that you can bring to the table and see you are able to add value to your ESCOM or even to your department. Okay, so which of the following is a threat to the business? Drums roll. Drums roll. Changing customer needs and preferences, taste, limited financial resources, lower production cost, or entry of foreign competitors. What do we think it is?
Entry of foreign competitors.
Very true. Entry of foreign competitors. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, great. Any question there? In problem solving and using the SWOT analysis, something that we have used all the time. Can use SWOT to be able to solve problems. Thank you, Joseph. So steps of SWOT analysis. Okay, so we have, I'll just recap, is analyze the internal and external environment, perform a SWOT analysis and document it. It's always important. Prepare action plans for your organization. So how do we analyze internal and external environment? The first step of a SWOT analysis is to analyze the situation from both internal and external aspects. Hence, carrying out an internal analysis will help you find out the strengths and weaknesses of your organization, that affect their situation. On the other hand, carrying out an external analysis will help you find the opportunities and strengths that are external but will affect your organization in the situation. So it's very important for us to be able to analyze internal and external environment. So helpful, the strengths and the weaknesses, internal and external. We can look at technological skills that we have, the leading brands, distribution channels, customer loyalty, product quality, the scale, magnitude of the scale, and management, And then the weaknesses, lack of skills, weak brand image, low customer satisfaction, unreliable quality, and poor management. So internal, can look into that. And then external opportunities, we can look at the changing customer technological advances, change in policies and politics, lower taxes, change in demographics, and then we can look at the threats are changing customer base, technological advances, change in politics and policies, increase in taxes, change in demographics. We woke up this morning and we were told that the price of petrol is going to go up by, I don't know, is it 8 shillings? It is so expensive. What does that mean? Is that increase in taxes? Increase in taxes means that you will have a lower purchasing power. Your 1,000 shillings will not buy as many goods as it was able to buy you last week when you go, because everything now is going to be increased. Well, we hope that the prices is going to go down after 2 months, because they say that it was due to demurrage. You wonder why? Again, logistics. That's what we just looked at, very alive. Root cause analysis. What caused the ships to incur demurrage at the port? Who was sleeping on the job? Those are some of the things that we should actually ask. And whoever will be tasked to do that has to carry out a root cause analysis. I wish they were here to be able to do that. So to perform a SWOT analysis, which is the steps to perform the SWOT, these steps includes establishing the following: establish the objectives, set contributors, allocate research and information gathering tasks, create a workshop environment, list SWOT analysis, evaluate list ideas against objectives, and carry out your findings forward. Where the rubber meets the road, I must say, is here. Because this is where we sit down and write it down in details. What is it we want to do? You've looked at your other strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, but now you are coming to define exactly who you are. This is the hard part. This is where the work falls in. And many other times is when people want to take a break and start the noise and the confusion until the chair says, oh, let's go back. And so the chair has to really control that place very well. So in terms of establish the objectives, select the contributors, allocate research gathering tasks, create a workshop environment, very important. You should determine the purpose of the conducting the SWOT. It may be wide, narrow, general, specific, bring one. Let's brainstorm and bring all those ideas to them. Select contributors, of course, transparently, openly, get the subject matter experts in. Preparation is carried in 2 stages, exploratory and detailed. Focus of information is on internal and external factors. What are we exploring? What are the details? That's what we want to see. You should encourage an atmosphere conducive to the free flow of information. That leads me to another example. I love to give examples. Last week, my friend called me and told me, Catherine, I'm tired of working in this company. He's a top CFO. Top CFO. I said, what is happening? You have a good job. He said, I'm done. Unfortunately, there was change of management, the usual change of management. We were not, the existing SMT team, we were not given the opportunity to interview, the usual. problem that you know. And I said, where was your HR in that thing? You know, he even dismissed the HR. And I said, now you're dismissing my fellow peers. Well, let's first get to where was your HR? The HR was overtaken by the board. Okay, fine. I felt sorry for the HR. So go on. What's the problem? The problem is that I now feel very unsettled in this job, and I will be resigning, but I want to sue them. I said, you'll be suing them for what? Do you have another job? No. And what's the problem? I'm not happy. Anyway, so the thing is that he did resign, and because he was very unhappy, and ended up suing the new CEO. The new CEO, not suing the organization. He felt the organization was still a good brand and stuff and everything, but he sued the person who came to antagonize him. What I'm trying to say is that it's important for us to carry people together. And I said, well, why don't you just go, because you're a senior member, why don't you go and negotiate an exit package, come and say, put it together and say, since we are not able to work together, one of us must go to save the brand and to save the situation at hand. See whether they can be able to pay you. And lo and behold, that's what he went, and now they're happy to negotiate. So let's look for solutions out of some of these things. These things are messy at the top. Then sometimes HR, we are caught at the crossroads, and we must be able to give solutions. Those solutions might be taken, those solutions might not be taken, but the root cause analysis, again, for what I'm trying to say is that when you hear these things are starting to happen, why don't you go and put in your head and say, how can I be of help in this situation where I hear we'll start looking for a new CEO or a new head of whatever? If you have not been given the brief, try and see how you can get in and try and say, if it doesn't go right, we would have to look at the root cause analysis as why it did not go right. And these are the policies that we have to use for us to whatever. Take every opportunity to make sure that you're addressing issues as they happen in the organization. Why did I tell you guys that story? No, I can't remember, sorry. List SWOT analysis, list the strengths and the weaknesses, opportunities and threats of the organization in a SWOT metrics. And we have seen some of the questions that you can ask, and also some of the possible answers that you can deduce from those questions. Evaluate listed ideas against objectives. All of them, list all those and don't throw any, because they will come in handy one day. And then carry out your findings forward. Make sure that the SWOT analysis is used in subsequent planning. Revisit your findings at suitable times and intervals at all times. So that's very important. So preparing action plan is where things must be addressed immediately, things must be handled later, what things should be researched further, what things should be planned for the future. So these are some of the key questions that we need to ask ourselves once we have done what we have done. We are planning in the around our SWOT analysis. So that marks the end of our seminar. Any question? Reaction? Okay, so observe the problem-solving styles of your colleagues and friends based on the observation questions of the following questions. So these things are things that you can take back to the workplace. Who among the people you observe usually uses effective problem-solving techniques? The next time you have a problem, and you can take this screenshot as a way of reminding you, which problem-solving techniques does this person follow to take good decisions? They might not know whether it's the scientific fishbowl, appreciative inquiry, root cause analysis. They never know, but they use one thing over the other. They have a way of telling it. What's your own problem? What's your own problem-solving style? Which one resonates with you very easily? Is it the Pareto? Is it the 5Y? Is it the SWOT? You know, you are able to, is it the brainstorming? So look, find a way, and it becomes your predominant style that is easy to use and you enjoy using it. And you can actually take people from Egypt to Canaan. How can you improve your problem solving skills? One of the things is that learn critical thinking, learn to be more empathetic, learn to listen, and learn to enjoy research and collecting of data. That will help you very, very much. Okay, so I won't read the case study. So summary, the process of problem identification is you define the problem, identify potential causes, analyze potential causes, draw conclusion, and make recommendations. The 3 key tools and techniques for problem solving are the 5Y techniques, the Pareto analysis, the cause and effect diagram or fishbone diagrams. Brainstorming is a strategy used by a group to generate ideas and solve a problem. And finally, the steps to conducting a root cause analysis is specify the problem situation, understand the problem situation, take prompt action step, take preventive action steps, and establish the solution. And finally, we looked at the SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis is a planning tool used to understand strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and strengths involved in a project or a business. You know, we have projects and we have a going concern as a company. So the steps in conducting a SWOT analysis are analyze internal and external environment, perform SWOT analysis and document, and prepare your action plans. So adios, that brings us to the end of our 2-day program. I would like to open this session to questions, answers, reaction, what you're taking away, and what are you challenging yourself in the area of problem solving. Was it useful? Was it enjoyable even? What did you learn? What's the one thing that you're going to take away and challenge yourself? I bet you like your photo. It's nice, very pretty.
Thank you. I've learned a lot, and I like the examples you're giving. They really make us relate quite well. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Someone else, what are you taking away? What would you, is there any question apart from just taking away? What are you planning to do in the area of problem solving at your workplace, or even as an individual? Anyone? Joseph, what are you taking away?
Well, these are tools and processes that we use daily. Probably, like you said earlier, we may not have been calling them by the names there. We know them, and now learning them. So there's plenty to probably we can do. We can streamline the processes that we have been doing. I like the brainstorming personally. It's an on day-to-day process that we take with, especially in my organization, we do it all the time. We have had just yesterday, we were form a committee to go about our culture change.
Wow.
So for me, it has come handy, and I think yesterday we were dealing with brainstorming. I didn't know the details that I know now. So at least it's an opportunity that has come handy to me as at the time I'm implementing a total change culture in the organization. So I'm grateful.
Fantastic, well done. Just very timely, just at the right time to be able to implement some of these things that you've got a good problem at hand, a real good one, and you're able to look at the culture of your organization and grow it to greater heights. I'm sure it's not broken, but you just want to reinforce it and then bend it to suit your brand and to make sure that it's working for everyone. So we wish you all the best. We are happy to support you where need be with suggestions, with brainstorming, put the questions in a generic form and we'll be able to support you. Well done, Joseph. I think that is, that's important. Yeah. Someone else? Taking away. Thank you for all the comments that are coming on the chat. Thank you for, yeah. Anybody else? You can raise your hand. Yeah. Thank you, Modoni. Short courses are always refreshing. I like the examples which make the sessions real. Thank you. Thanks for the webinar. I have picked up a lot, and the beauty is that the materials are available for reference. Yes, yeah. Thanks. Kudos to the convener. Thank you, Andrita. Please share the presentation for future reference. You'll get it on the LMS. Please ensure you have an account that's from ACHRP. All presentations and notes recording are available on our LMS learning platform. So make sure that you do that. And if you're not able to log in, please reach out to Dan, who will be able to support you in logging in, creating an account, and getting this material and all the other previous materials and recordings that have been there. Okay, great. It's a great platform. Yeah, and you can reach Dan on that number. So it's already there. Okay, great. Any other? So just for record purposes, we'll have the root cause analysis tomorrow, facilitated by Rhoda. That will be on Thursday and Friday. Please do come log in so that we can learn together. And of course, we are hard at work. We are hard at work. Yes, that's the right statement. With Dan and the rest of the planning team to make sure that we are preparing for the conference, for the big conference, the ACHRP conference, which will take place in November. So keep those dates open. Communication will come through. And for me is to thank you very much for tuning in and for engaging. And my challenge is that how do you use these new learnings, these new skills, or just these refreshers to become a better HR practitioner and a better resource in your organization. So that's all from me. I wish you a very good day and God bless you till we meet again. Bye. Take care. Yeah. Can unmute and say bye.